still Bulletin. Bulletin rattles on after that fast beginning and keeps on going. This filly can close wherever she wants. Jaywalk is a Breeders' Cup champ. Newspaper of record now set down, and she explodes with power once again.
The Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf was also a huge buzz race in terms of newspaper of record off her 6 3/4 length win of the Miss Grillo Stakes. And true to the name of the race, she actually did marinade and grill and roast her opposition in that race, and which made her a solid favorite going in. Concrete Rose had been very, very impressive in the Jessamine Stakes, and I thought that she was really going to be the one to really make a race of it. Did not materialize on the soft going, something that newspaper of record had shown an affinity for. As Jimmy Barnes said about Justify after running on two sloppy tracks in the first two legs of the Triple Crown, I can't wait to see him get on a firm surface. So I think a lot of people are going to be very, very curious to see how newspaper of record does on firm going, where her feet can rattle. Is that going to widen the gap and the advantage that she had over the soft going, or is it going to be more competitive? Because in this race it was another blowout, same margin of victory, 6 3/4 lengths. Very, very impressive in this. 139 was the time, but that's reflective of a very, very deep and boggy race course that took in a lot of rain in a couple days before the championships got started. But she basically blew this field out. Interestingly enough, East, a horse who hadn't run in great at company like this, 2 for 2, very well bred, trained by Kevin Ryan, ran second in here. And then the horses that, a lot of people, myself included, didn't stand a puncher's chance after being, destroyed in the Miss Grillo. Stellar Agent, who was third, and Varinka, who was second. They actually ran very, they actually picked up the third and the fourth place, or they ran third and fifth respectively, so they didn't run too bad. In between that, Aidan O'Brien's Just Wonderful was in the fourth spot, and so anyone who hit the Superfecta, they were very happy to see her finish the land there. But newspaper of record, people are talking about Royal Ascot, but when you have a 3-year-old filly in the next calendar year running on turf, there aren't really a lot of exciting races in the U.S., so instead of waiting on Royal Ascot, why not just ship her over there to run in the 1,000 guineas on 2,000 guineas day at Newmarket and try her hand there and get a campaign going? That would possibly expedite the transfer of her to someone like Sir Michael Stout, or maybe even an Aidan O'Brien, as if he needs another filly. Sir Michael Stout would be a great choice to train that particular superstar. But on the other hand, she may juggle between the United States and Europe, and maybe Royal Ascot after a couple stakes runs in the United States will be the plan. That's likely what's going to happen. But on the other hand, a lot of people are curious, like, she may be the best 2-year-old filly overall, male or female. Why not put her on the Kentucky Oaks Trail, see if she can handle the dirt, and worst case scenario, it's a free roll of the dice. If it doesn't work out, put her back on the lawn. So I think people are going to be interested in that, and I also believe, as you know, I'm always pushing the envelope of 2-year-old fillies, not so much being Kentucky Oaks horses, but contenders for the Kentucky Derby. Where do they stack against the Colts? And we're going to discuss that more as we get further into Future Friday on day one of the Breeders' Cup. And as Bob Baffert once said, the Kentucky Oaks, it's a $500,000, it's a grade 1, but it's nothing like the Derby. So again, that may be a lost cause in trying to broadcast newspaper records potential against males. This may also hold true of some of the horses that were beaten in here, although most would be more likely to stay where they're at given what happened here. But I do think that the racetrack wreaked, as I said, wreaked a little bit of mayhem and havoc on some of these horses that weren't able to handle it. It was unusually, deep and tiring and heavy. But newspaper record had to compete on it as well, and she handled it very, very well. She's a very, very exciting talent, and we're going to certainly be hearing a lot more, barring any setbacks from her. So again, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, newspaper of record, in a time of 139 flat, wins it by 6 3/4 lengths.
Ortiz Jr. has not even moved a muscle. They're into the stretch with newspaper of record now set down, and she explodes with power once again. They're coming down to the 16th pole, and it's newspaper of record. Stop the presses. This is one fabulous, fabulous filly. Oh, she won it by 7 lengths as East got second late. And then it was Stellar Agent and Just Wonderful was fourth behind. An unbelievable performance by newspaper of record.